Alrighty, guys, thank you for tuning in. Today we have the very first episode of A Creative's Almanac, and with us today is Jack Wilde.
What's going on?
My name is Greco, and in the booth we have the beautiful Mark Wisnowski.
Hey.
So today we're just going to get right into it, and Jack, tell us about what was it like the day of your first show, and kind of give us a little bit of background on you as a person, as a producer, who you are, how'd you get into producing music, how'd you get into rapping or songwriting? Start with that.
Oh, man. So if you want to take it back, like way back, I started off by playing piano. I think I was like between 4 and 7 years old when I started playing piano.
Yeah.
And I really did enjoy playing piano. And then I ended up trying other things like trumpet and drums, which is still my favorite thing to do. I did drumline for a while as well. So what I'm trying to say is I've done pretty much music my whole life.
A lot of different types of instruments that kind of helped.
Nothing that hit home quite yet. I ended up doing pretty shitty in school except for film. So only option I have is go to film school, and then this is where I kind of realized how much I miss music.
Yeah.
And shout out to Axel Boss. We started jamming at his house, and he would make his own music, and that's what kind of sparked it for me. And I ended up meeting, we had this rapper from China, shout out to Xiao Wang, in my film class. And he was looking for someone who makes beats. And he asked me while we were in class, and I lied. I was like, oh, yeah, dude, I make beats. I'll send you some. So then he's like, all right, bet, go home and send me some after this. I was like, oh, yeah, for sure. So I'm walking home like, fuck. What the fuck did I do?
Now you gotta prove it.
Yeah. And I got there. I looked up free programs and how to make music, and FL was the first one that showed up. At the time, the free version, you can create sessions, but you can't save them. So I would just keep them open and then have multiple songs in one session.
Damn.
And send them the beats I tried to make. They were fucking terrible. I did not even know how 808s worked. Didn't even know what 808s were yet, or how to tune them, nothing.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm assuming is that he saw something, and he just kept pushing me to do it.
Yeah.
So I would just show up every day at school, when we're working on a project, and just play this on a Bluetooth speaker to show him, and just kind of went from there, really. So that's how I got into it.
Were you making beats for this guy for a long time, or?
Yeah, he didn't use any of them.
Well, yeah. What I assume probably was in his head is yeah, maybe this person lied about producing beats, but you had the drive and you were like, hey, I actually want to do this and I'm actually working towards it. So you probably saw the effort and he's like, yo, don't stop.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So, now that we have a little bit of background about you, tell us about what your first show was like. I know it was at the Red Room.
Yeah.
That must have been pretty intense for your first show.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate my team, which you and Mark were there to help out.
Yeah.
All right, no, you actually weren't there.
No, I was in Barcelona.
Right? Yeah, far away. Mark was there to help out. Next time, I want to make sure I have a dedicated team to certain areas, because I took care of everything myself, and it was just way too much. I feel like it would have gone a lot smoother if I had people to help me do stuff, but
Oh yeah.
my God.
Well, even just to go on that, and we're gonna see later with some of the videos that we're gonna pull up that not only were you having to worry about performing, but you're also trying to handle your auto tune and the music, and there was a bunch of hiccups. So we'll save that for a little bit later. But yeah, so start us off at the beginning of the day. What did it feel like?
Well, I couldn't sleep that night, so I was just literally up all night with excitement. I wasn't nervous at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I had everything ready to go in order. I had the costume made. It was working.
Yeah, dude, because this is that's every artist's dream, is your very first performance on a big stage with people that are, killing it.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know what, this is gonna be good, and I'm so glad that I finally get my chance to shine and be a star, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry for interrupting, but
No.
go. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think now. This is a while ago.
Oh yeah.
January 19th.
Yeah.
Holla Mark in the back.
Yeah. January 19th. What was that day like? All I really remember is when we actually arrived in van to meet up, and Mark was over an hour late.
Ooh, classic Mark time.
Filipino.
all of it leading up to it was fine. Like, I had all my friends there.
Yeah.
We had dinner before the show, and then got a phone call, and our Airbnb has been compromised.
That bitch.
We didn't read the reviews before, so make sure to read your reviews on your Airbnb, because she's done this to people before, is that she just didn't show up. She takes the money and doesn't show up and help you out. So,
Very good rule of thumb for all of the viewers who don't know this. Just read the reviews on usually anything you buy, or especially Airbnb.
yeah,
Oh,
where
yeah.
where you stay.
Exactly. We have actually a little clip here, Jack, of you talking a little bit about the Airbnb. We're gonna queue up here in a second. Give it a little look.
You know what restaurant this was?
All right, go ahead.
Water bar.
Yo, so what happened?
Well, we got fucked on our Airbnb. We read the last review. She left people stranded on New Year's, and we didn't expect that, so she literally left us. We got a refund now, got a new Airbnb, but looks like it's paid off, because then we got like a sick mansion, supposedly. So
Yo, I can only imagine.
we'll find out when we get there. Yeah, so thankfully it did end up working in our favor, because we got a nicer place than originally, but it was farther away. So it did still create like a huge time crunch before the show.
I bet.
Yeah.
On top of all the other things I had to worry about.
And the fact that I've never done a show in my life before. I had no idea what to expect. So it was just an experience.
Oh, I bet. And so when you first decided that you want to do a show in Vancouver, probably that's been on your mind for a while, or at least your first show in general. When you finally found out the way to do it, and you realized that you actually had to sell an absolute monstrosity of tickets, how much was it? Like
60
60
tickets?
freaking tickets to a
That's
show in Vancouver.
Insane.
So for the people who haven't been to Vancouver who are tuning in, by the way, hi. I feel like selling 60 tickets anywhere in the world is an absolute monstrosity of tickets before the event. How long was the average? Like, how long did you get them before
It
the
was
actual event?
I had 1 month to, I think it was, you have to sell a certain amount of tickets. I think it's like 12 or something, or maybe less.
Just 12? Wow.
Yeah.
You surely went above and beyond for that.
Yeah. I just messaged literally everybody, bugging them and keeping them accountable for when they said like, no, I'm getting paid Friday and I'll buy the ticket. So then Friday at 9 a.m. I'm on their ass bugging them to buy the ticket. I just did that, and I probably did it to like triple the amount of the people who actually bought tickets.
To get your conversion rate, right?
Yeah.
Got to get a lot of people.
And the tricky part is most of these people are coming from 2 hours outside of Vancouver, have to find accommodations to stay, especially if they want to drink, and it's just a lot of costs going in. People weren't down for that, and the fact that it was snowing really hard 2 days before the event. So I'm thankful for everyone that showed up, honestly, and in my mind 60 did not seem like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't. 60 people, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like
like-
I'm supposed to be selling out stadiums.
Yeah, 10,000 is a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, it was great. I was
Man.
surprised.
That's cool. If you could give us and the audience maybe 3 of the biggest mindsets that you need to go into selling that many tickets, what would you say? What kind of advice would you give?
Because it's daunting for sure.
Yeah. I'd say really, you just don't give a fuck, and just like what made it easy for me is that I kept telling myself like, you're worth the $12. For someone to see you perform, you're worth that $12, so just bug their ass. It's not that expensive. Just keep pushing it until they show up.
Good
because
point.
you have something to offer them. It's not,
You're not just expecting them to pay you for nothing, essentially.
No, which it does feel like sometimes. You're like, it's fine if you can't make it, but I just wanted to make sure that I was persistent. I would say, don't give a fuck, be persistent, and know your worth.
Definitely. Yeah, because I've tried to sell tickets in the past, and I'm of the mind that I don't like to pressure people into anything because I hate being pressured myself.
Yeah.
But
That's the thing you got to do. You have to just like not give a fuck, even if you feel that way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Damn. Let's move on. Let's see what happened once you left the restaurant. How was the new place?
New place was amazing. It had heated marble floors.
Ooh.
Great master bedroom. It was a good vibe in there.
Wait, quick stop. How many people were actually sharing this Airbnb? How many people got left behind because of that one lady?
Originally it was 10.
Shit.
And then after the show, it ended up being Mark, Arthur, Sarah, and I. So just 4 of us.
Shout out to all the homies.
And Taylor.
Oh, Taylor, right. Sorry, Taylor.
I always forget about Taylor.
Wow. No, but
Jokes,
yeah.
Taylor.
So half of us ended up staying. It just wasn't it wasn't planned properly on anybody's part, especially the Airbnb lady. But it was a nice place.
Live and you learn, right?
Yeah.
What next? Like, how much time did you have left before the show actually started, and what were you thinking?
I think we had an hour.
Ooh,
I didn't have
tight.
mixes done yet.
Yo, I'm getting queasy just thinking about
Yeah,
that.
I was still finishing up songs.
Yeah.
And I still had to get ready, get the costume, make sure it works, check the battery, charge the battery, offload everything onto a USB and CD.
Brutal.
So it was a huge rush. And we were definitely late showing up to the rehearsal.
Damn. And again, like we said at the beginning, that must be a lot, because usually, in the ideal circumstance, you want to just have to worry about your performance, but you didn't only have to do that, and like you had to fight through various stages of like, I'm nervous, but I'm also in charge of essentially everything to do with my show, right? From the beginning of like I have to sell a certain amount of tickets so I can even perform,
Yep.
to having to deal with getting all your mixes ready, blah 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 blah. But this is kind of the thing that goes into doing your first performance, right? It's like, if it was easy, then it wouldn't be memorable.
Yeah.
Memorable.
Or everybody would be doing it if it was
Yeah.
easy.
And like you said earlier, with the like 60 people, when you just say 60 people, it doesn't really seem like much, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you see 60 people in a room, and as we're going to show with some of the clips that we have coming up here, 60 people is a lot of people. When you see them, 60 individual people came to see you.
Yeah.
That blows my mind, man. That's so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, really good job. So, you know, even before you got to the red room, you seemed kind of nervous. I want to show a video of proof of that, just how nervous you were, and afterwards, I just want to let you talk us through how you were actually feeling during that time. It's just to let people in on you know how it's really like for an artist before a show.
We had to fight through.
I'm getting nervous. Fuck. Alright, it's good.
Deep breaths.
But I gotta be like
this car is
organized, you know? Like I gotta like tune the auto tune for each song and
Have your wits about you a bit.
shit.
Yeah, you'll be good.
Yeah, but it's not till like 10 something. It's only 6:30.
So you still had 3 hours and a half till your show was, but
Yeah.
you still looked pretty nervous.
Yeah. Well, there's just so much shit that had to be done before that. Like I said, I just finished the songs before we hopped in that car. And then I've never performed before. It was just a whole new experience, and I'm not one who's very easygoing. I'm like the most anxious, overthinking person that I know.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was just, bro, I don't know. I was fucked in my head.
So you said you guys were already late coming to the show, right?
Yeah.
So in the clip, what you said you were.
It was only 6:30. Yeah, but we had, I think rehearsal was at 6 or like 5:30.
Yeah.
So we were already fairly late. So that was also not helping as well. I was like, what are they going to think? Like, I'm
late
supposed to
for
be a
my first
professional
show.
artist.
Yeah.
And then they're just like everyone just assumes that artists are going to be late.
Yeah. I kind of want you to tell everyone, like, essentially what it's like having to do essentially everything by yourself when you get to the nightclub. Like, kind of walk us through it. So you walk through the doors of the nightclub. You guys arrive. What time was it?
Probably like 6:45.
6:45. Cool.
Yeah.
So you walk into the nightclub, and then what happened? Walk us through it.
So we got in. It was like beautiful inside. We're like, oh my god, we made it! Like, oh yeah,
This place is sick.
Yeah, we're gonna kill it. And I'm like, oh yeah. And then like slowly after like more and more things pile up, I'm like, holy fuck! Like I don't think I want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So we showed up there, super excited, talked to the coordinator. I was vibing, we were having a good time.
Still excited.
Yeah, and then she's like, okay, yeah, you're performing at, what was it, 11:30?
Wasn't it a few hours or no, a few?
After.
It was after that your scheduled time, like your chosen slot.
And if you sell the most tickets, you get to choose what time you want to be on. So 10 was my choice, and I was like, oh, yeah, whatever, this is fine. Like, just let it slide. And then I'm like, okay, so what do I do with my music? He's like, oh, we usually hook it up by aux. So I was like, oh, well, I only have USB and CD.
Wait. Pump the brakes. You said aux.
Yeah.
This is an actual nightclub, right?
Yeah.
Red Room's an actual nightclub,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And so they said aux.
Shout out Red Room.
Shout out Red Room. By the way, guys, Red Room's actually a really sick venue. We're just kind of confused why the person who was organizing this said that you had to hook up your music through aux.
Yeah.
When it's like a really expensive sound system. Anyway, sorry for interrupting, but
No. Yeah, so the aux thing came up, and now I'm like, well, fuck, my phone's dead. Everyone around me has iPhones.
Shout out iPhone.
Shout out iPhone. We had no adapters. Thank God that I brought my laptop. I came in with my backpack. So we just ended up hooking up to my laptop.
Pro tip, always bring your laptop to your shows.
Yeah, seriously. Bring as much equipment as you can.
Backups for literally everything.
Yeah. Because if I did not bring that, I would have not performed after selling all those tickets.
Damn.
And doing all that work, I would have been heartbroken.
What are some things that you couldn't have done the show without?
Bring your own microphone. Invest into a good mic. Bring your own mic, I'd say. You don't know what kind of mics they're going to offer you. And everyone else that was performing had their own mic. Some people had like nice wireless ones. So invest in a good mic. Don't rely on the venue's stuff, I'd say. If you're going to use auto-tune or anything, make sure you buy your own, because they may or may not have it and may or may not know how to hook it up, and you'll probably have to do it.
And you'll probably forget it there.
And you'll probably forget it there and then have to buy another one.
Yeah, so you said bring a microphone, auto-tune. What else?
Yourself.
That's important.
Bring your A game. Definitely bring a crew. I'd say bring a dedicated crew who's down for your craft and it's just all for you. Supporters. Yeah. Bring your supporters and your team that can help you set up everything. Luckily, I had a bunch of friends so they could play the music off my laptop for me and I didn't have to worry. So backtrack, I'd say a good team. Backups, and your auto-tune box. Don't forget it.
Don't forget it.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a really good point to bring up is I think every artist needs a really good team, but I think a lot of them shouldn't fret too much about it, because as you continue through your career as a musician and as a producer and as almost any creative, a team will start to develop around you. Yeah. Like the appropriate people will be attracted to your quote unquote cause. Yeah. Right? And they'll rally behind you. Yeah. Just like they did in the at your show, right?
Yeah. Which is interesting, like you would think that all this stuff is planned out and you go out and you seek it, but it's like it's weird. If you're really on track with what you should be doing, it's gonna happen. And it'll just unfold the way it's supposed to. Like even now, as being here, like doing this.
Totally.
What a great opportunity.
Right.
And like having you guys for this part, like as my team, like you can pull me aside and help me out. Mark can take care of the stuff here. And you guys are just down for my shit. It's just like, it's a breeze,
And like so I'm going to give a little teaser for what we did earlier today. So we were actually recording a little performance from Jack here. He performed 2 different songs, and so I can only imagine how anxious he was being. Well, I don't have to imagine, I was there.
You saw it.
Yeah, so I had to talk him through various little things, and like, there is never a perfect performance, right? So there's always going to be, you show up, you weren't expecting to perform, and all of a sudden you got like 9 people being like, okay, this is your time to go on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think that's more important than anything else. You got to be ready, because opportunities present themselves at the random, like this, being able to work in the studio, and like your show, right?
Yeah.
And not to downplay any of your hard work that you did in selling those tickets, but it's a lot, and you just got to be ready for it. And you had a really, really good attitude. when
Thank
you when you came in and you actually like, even though I could see that you're actually melting on the inside, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, again, there's never a perfect scenario, and I
Yeah.
think as creatives, all of us, including Mark, in the back,
Hey.
we all got to be dynamic in what we do, right?
Right.
And like really be able to shift with the stuff around us, right? So that's actually, you made a really good point there.
So
And I want to say one thing too is when you're an anxious person, overthinker, paranoid, you think that you're the only person in the world that feels this way, and that it's yours is the strongest, and that you're gonna be stuck like that forever.
Totally.
You might be like that forever, but it's just something that you have to just do it anyways and push against it.
Oh yeah.
And you might be like that forever, but just always push against it because you're gonna pay off. Like, yeah, just yeah.
Yeah,
all I
man.
gotta
And
say.
that's how you grow as an artist and as a human being, pushing through the things that scare the living shit out of you.
Yeah.
Right? Because then imagine if when you got offered the opportunity to actually do a show today.
I was like, no.
No, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I'm too scared.
Yeah, maybe it didn't lead to anything. It won't lead to
Yeah.
anything. But who knows, dude?
Yeah.
Maybe it would.
The thing about overthinking, so like you got to thinking as like a tool, as a hammer.
Yeah.
When you're nailing the nail, once it's in, you need to stop, or the more you nail, you're going to damage the nail, you're going to damage the wood. You need to hang up that hammer once it's done with its job. Same thing with thinking, like in those moments, like when I was offered, I just chose not to think about it and just
Hang up the
say
hammer.
yes, hang up the hammer. Like, you don't need to be. Yeah, I'm re-saying what I was trying to say. Is that it's just thinking is a tool, and use it wisely, and don't
Sometimes
always
you don't
use
need
it.
to think.
Yeah, you really shouldn't.
But going back to the show, you figured out it was gonna be aux. You connected the computer, and so you were trying to get your stuff together. You said you weren't finished your set yet, right? When you got to the club.
I think I was just messing with the order on my
Okay.
laptop. That's
Okay.
about it. Because I already had it like down on USB and stuff, and then when they said aux, I had to make sure that for Emily, shout out to Emily.
Shout out,
Shout
Emily.
outs.
Yeah, I got a great group of friends. That it was seamless for her to just play the next track. So I had to, number the tracks so she could just press next.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So let's set the scene here. I mean, first you get fucked over by your Airbnb. You fix that problem, but then you've got to fix up your songs. You run into some trouble at the actual club.
Yeah.
So things are not going perfectly, but
No.
you're still there and you're about to perform.
Still pushing through it.
You're still pushing through it, and I mean, there's a moment right before you get on stage that it looks like you might even still be doubting yourself. And I mean, usually people think that like once you get right before that period, you're pretty good, but basically it seems like you're not into it until you actually just get on stage.
Until you
Yeah.
actually just do it.
Yeah.
Until you hang up the hammer.
Exactly, yeah. I just want to show a quick clip here of Jack just before he gets on stage. I think it's a pretty mint clip.
Let's watch it.
Along with global warming and ever-increasing growth lettuce. Proliferation of crime and incurable disease, signaling utter annihilation of all life on this planet as we know it. Think about that as you watch tonight's show.
Here we go.
Enjoy.
Sitting here waiting for the asteroids. Last memories trapped with Polaroids. Just a puppet drawn on celluloid. What's it gonna do when the Earth is destroyed? Treat this life like a cigarette.
Holy fuck.
60 people, eh?
What does it feel like watching that video back? Do you get are the feelings kind of flowing
Yeah.
back into you?
Yeah. Like, why I say, well, this is it. When I go out there, is like going up to that point, I was like self-doubting like crazy. I had to talk to everybody like, I'm not doing this. Like for sound check, I had to walk off because I thought I couldn't do this. The jacket stopped working. All this like half an hour before, everything just shitting the bed. And I've never performed. I don't like really being like all
Crowded.
eyes on me,
Yeah.
crowded. So like everything I've grown up to be known as is about to go out the fucking window as soon as I get on that stage. It's like that's about to fucking disappear, and you are gonna become the person that you've always wanted to be. But it was like so far out of reach, but like so close. And it's like, I don't know if I'm ready to take that step, that leap, this like journey like into what's about to happen. So it was like I had like the old Brandon mindset, parents, everything like, no, you can't do this. Like, this is not how you were raised. You're like an anxious little boy who, you know,
Does respectable things and
yeah, you like, you're not meant to be on stage. Like, you don't like this stuff, Brandon. Like, you're not going to be able to do it. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then I was like, well, fuck it. Went out there and then just clicked. And then it's like blacking out. I don't even remember.
yeah.
It was just like, I don't know. And then right when I got there, I was like, this is exactly what the fuck I want to do with my life. And it
Straight
just
up.
like, it was amazing.
Dude, and you can totally see it in the video. Like, I liken it to the 3, 2, 1 moment. So most people, when they jump in or like they're about to do something, I do this when I'm about to jump into really cold water.
Yeah.
I'm like, I try to hype myself up, and then eventually I never end up doing it.
Yeah.
And then you just gotta stand there, 3, 2, 1, and just turn off your brain for a second.
Yeah.
And let, in your case, your skills and the stuff that you know about yourself and your passion for music completely just, you know, you put him in the driving seat, and that anxious Brandon, you put him in the trunk and you lock him in there for the duration of the show.
Yeah.
He can come out tomorrow, but not
Yeah.
during the show, right?
Yeah. And I think one really good piece of advice too is like, your music and stuff does not have to be perfect when you're at this point. Just put your shit out there as it is and go perform.
Straight up.
Like, fuck your ego and like your insecurities. Just do it, because first of all, they're not gonna notice unless it's really bad, and you have to put yourself out there and like just be what you want to be, not what you are
Or what you're expected to be.
what you're expected to be.
Yeah.
Because even with your own mindset, not just like an audience expects you to be this way, because there's expectations about yourself that you have. Just like whatever that dream is, just be that person and just fight for it. Because there's an inside feeling that you're supposed to follow. And like this life will just keep making that light smaller and smaller and smaller until you get so lost that you
don't know the way anymore.
and you've just played safe.
Yeah.
Like even with yours, like maybe you expected yourself to just DJ, and now you're making music, and now you're trying to put your voice on it. Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
To tackle your point of your music doesn't have to be perfect. That's so true, man.
Yeah.
It's because as musicians, like we've produced music together before. It's like we're always trying to make it as perfect as possible. And I think this is a really big thing for all of the musicians and almost any creative out there.
Yeah.
Is perfection doesn't exist
No.
in any form of the word.
No.
And realistically, it good enough in your own head. I'm not saying that you have to make subpar stuff, but realize that most of the stuff that you're going to be making is in your eye,
Mm-hmm.
right? And no one's probably going to be able to see it for how you see it, but when you get the opportunity to actually perform it on stage like Jack did,
Mm-hmm.
it's like that's when people actually start to get behind it. That's when people start to understand your image.
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yeah, they really understand on stage. And the thing is, what I made a mistake about, do this from the beginning, please, is don't try and be the cool kid and make the cool kid music. Just make what you like to your ear, because there will always be an audience for it. There are
Straight
people like you. That was my problem, is I wanted to make music that I thought people would listen to, when I just am starting now to just make music that I like to listen to. And don't worry about your mixes. Like, there's going to be professional people judging, like, oh, that's not this and that. But it's all
flat there.
yeah, it's like all this is about passion and potential, and people value potential and passion more than a great fucking mix. Like, you could have the worst sounding song in the world, like mix wise,
Yeah. It's like, no, actually, you can have the worst song in the world and it'll be good.
but if you believe that you have potential, then other people are going to see through anything that you do have it.
And by proxy, that's how your team, I think, eventually approaches it.
Shifts towards
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
It's like when you stop caring about what everyone else thinks and be like, hey, you know, I'm just going to follow this train, which I strongly believe in. Then you get people like me, Mark, Damie, and then,
Arthur.
yeah, I don't really like Arthur.
Fuck Arthur.
Shout out Arthur.
Shout out Arthur.
So, okay, so you actually get to performing, and the moment kind of slips away where it's like, I'm gonna stop thinking now. You go out onto stage, and then you actually perform. You said you blacked out.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Were you drunk or?
No. So Axel was very drunk, probably blackout. But
Shout out Axel.
shout out Axel.
Straight up,
once
shout out
again.
Axel here.
Axel boss,
We'll
bro.
have him on here.
What a boss. It's a different type of blackout. Like, you're just so in the moment that nothing else matters, and it's just you're just floating through it all, and all of a sudden it's just over. Like, everything that I did on stage was not by choice. It was just by flow.
It's intuition.
Intuition.
100%.
Just let the skills take over.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got one more clip I want to show everybody.
excited for this
Oh,
one.
yeah. I can already tell what it is.
So actually, I just want to preface all these clips. So Jack has no idea what me and Mark chose to play during his set. So this is all kind of, we're just springing this on Jack here to get his honest reaction.
And yeah, and I mean, having fans, that's amazing. That's really cool. But I think there's another aspect here too, where you have to have a crew that actually believes in you, and you have to be, you have to be tight with that crew, and you got to be nice to your crew, and you got to, respect your crew, kind of thing, right? And I think that really shows once you finish your show and the feedback you get on that. So I just want to get a clip here, just after Jack finished his show, and what happened.
Let's check it out. You look extremely overwhelmed. That's Axel Boss, by the way.
Holy fuck.
My girl.
Shout out Axel
Yeah,
Boss.
baby. Male pattern baldness. Male pattern baldness. That last song.
Jeez.
Holy.
Another shout out Axel Boss. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's
Male
freaking
pattern
hilarious.
baldness.
Baldness. Dude, so, and that is what it's for. Like, the crowd reaction, your team congratulating you after,
Yeah.
it's like, it's such a high. It's something I'll probably chase my whole life now. Is this, that moment there was like, it feels like a fucking movie. Like, you got everything going wrong, and then it pays off in the end.
Yeah.
And then whatever I thought was going to happen didn't go nearly as wrong. I should never have doubted myself, ever. And look what happened. And this is what that moment has taught me too, which is going on stage and fighting through everything,
Like the
fighting
show.
through all the negative emotions that I had,
Yeah.
and doing it, and then realizing, oh fuck, like, you could actually do this shit for real. Now it's like, I have a new way of living. How I'm way more confident now. I don't doubt myself anymore. I know I could do this. People fuck with my stuff, so I just wish I did that from the beginning and did this sooner.
Right.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about earlier, it's like, I don't know if it's specifically just performing, because that's the only type of artist that I think you or me are. But like I was saying, it's just like, it's the best high ever.
Yeah, it
Right.
really is.
And I don't know if it's the actual performing high, or it's the fact that you're following what you actually love, and the feeling that you get is just your body and the world telling you is like, hey, you're doing what you love, and you feel like actually fulfilled, which I think is a super rare thing nowadays. People actually feeling fulfilled with their life, right? But actually wrapping this up, because I mean, you've been amazing. Interviewing is awesome, and being along for this journey with you, and watching you grow from somebody who's super duper anxious, seeing you in high school as super anxiety prone person, to growing into someone who just randomly, like out of nowhere, gets asked, "Hey, do you want to perform?" and you actually just like going through with it. Give the viewers some tips on how would you recommend people get started, or how can you encourage other creatives who are struggling in a moment right now, especially being locked in their houses for such a long time, to think about what's inspiring them and how to actually go for it. I know that's a lot to put on your shoulders, but like,
I'd
for it.
say just take that first step in any direction, because you'll find your way.
even the wrong direction.
Even the wrong direction, it's like, then you know it's wrong.
Yes, straight up.
Just please take that first step towards what you want to do, and don't let anything get in the way. Don't let fear of money get in the way. fear of your parents get in the way, fear of losing get in the way, failing, because what you should fear is getting to your deathbed wondering, what if I did do this?
I totally agree with it. I'm gonna wrap it up too with agreeing with you on that if you just live your life, like, think of it, if you just live your life doing what you wanted forever and doing what you feel passionate about, and you go to bed on the last day of your life, are you going to regret it? I don't think so. If you did the things that you loved, and maybe you didn't become the billionaire that you said you were going to become, or you didn't do all the absolutely, like, you didn't buy a private jet or anything like that, but you lived a life full of fulfillment, and you actually realized what made you special and made you you, and you eventually got people around you who cared about you for who you are and what you want to do and support you with that.
Right.
Dude, I can't even think of a greater feeling. And honestly, just
that's what it's about.
seriously. And I just want to take a moment to be super thankful for, again, shout out Studio 710 for letting us use their space.
Yeah.
Shout out Jack Wilde for sitting through this intense interview. And shout out Mark Rosnowski in the back room here.
And Damie.
Damie.
Shout out Damie.
That's hiding behind the monitor. Damie, come on the mic and say hi.
Hi, guys.
That's Damie, by the way. So, guys, this has been the very first episode of A Creative's Almanac. We're going to be coming back with a bunch of different artists throughout the next coming months. And the biggest thing that we want to highlight here at A Creative's Almanac, or Creative's Almanac, is we want to bring in people that we think are following their dreams, and creatives of all types, not just musicians, chefs, artists, people who do pottery, bend clothes hangers into cool shapes. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like people who are following their creative ambitions, and we want to bring them on here, and we want to show you guys that there's a lot of people like you that are following their dreams and actually want to accomplish something.
And it's about time that everyone starts doing what they want to do with
Straight
their
up.
life. So go and do it, please.
Straight up, guys. And thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you guys in the next episode.
Peace out.
Peace out.